How's it going, guys? We're going to be working with the TV show intro today, and I'm going to be showing you just a couple of the things that you all haven't yet covered or are not familiar with here in this little tutorial. This is the only thing you will be allowed to use during your quiz, so make sure you pay close attention and try your best to create your own project as best as you can. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you want to go ahead and create a new project. Once we have our new project, we're going to go ahead and go to File and Save As. Head over into your Documents. On the other hand, I have it under Pictures. Head into TV show intro, and right here you should have your files used, finished, and working. Remember, you're going to have this under your documents, right? I'm going to head over to my working files, and I'm going to title this TV show intro, and just click save. So now that I have that there, and it's saved, and I'm ready to work, the next thing that I'm going to do is double click in here, and I'm going to import the images that I'm working with. You should have 6 images or more. So I'm going to go ahead and import this. I'm only using 2 for now because I'm using them as an example. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But just to kind of let you guys know, make sure you head over to your Schoology account, log into TV show intro, and then you're going to be able to see right here the entire information of what needs to be done so that you know exactly what you have to do to get 100 in this one. So we're going to be working with our own files to recreate a TV show intro. You'll be working with opacity, position, scale, and rotation. Here's the script. You're going to start off with a new original series featuring actor 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then all of the cast towards the very end. You must have time 1 to 1 minute and a half. Images, a minimum of 5 actors plus the cast, so that equals to a total of 6 images, or more if you choose to put more characters in there. And you must contain text, text effects, which is animate in and animate out, and you must use keyframes such as position, scale, rotation, and opacity. So let me go ahead and show you all how you're going to go ahead and do that right now. So beforehand, if you don't know how to download your pictures, just make sure you go over here. So I'm using Dexter as a TV show. So the first thing you want to do is search up Dexter or whatever TV show you're going to be looking for in your case, right? When you search for the images, you're going to notice that some of these, you might like them, but they're going to say like 400 by 268. That's a very small image. So what we're going to need to do is look for an image that's actually big that we can use. So you're going to head over to Tools and then search size and choose large. That way you're guaranteed that all the images you're using are large images. Like this one looks pretty cool. We can go ahead and go File, Save As, and I'll title this one Dexter 2 because I like that one a little bit better than the first one I had. Then some of the other characters here. I mean, if you know the characters to yours, you can just search them up. In my case, I'll search for Dexter Cast, and then I should be able to see some of the other characters. Go to Images, to All, and then Deborah Morgan is the second one. Deborah Morgan. Search her up, Images, Tools, Size, Large, right? So we want to make sure we get like a large image. This one works pretty good. Go to File, Save As, and call her Deborah Morgan, right? And save it. Alright, so say we have the images, right? You guys read through this information, you know what you're doing. So we're going to go ahead and add the other 2 images that I had right here. Import. The first thing we want to do is create a new composition. And this part's important. Remember, there's multiple ways of creating a new composition. You can head down to your composition icon right here. You press it, create a new composition. I'm going to cancel it. The other thing is you can right click right here, create a new composition. That's one way. Or you can head up here to composition and create a new composition. Multiple ways to do it, but whatever you choose the best ways for you, then that'll work. Here we're going to put TV show intro, and this is going to be 1920. Make sure this is unchecked by 1080. So there you go. And then right here, frame rate's 29.97, and we're gonna make this be 13000. Yep, that is 1 minute and 30 seconds. So now we have a whole minute to work with. So right here we have the 60-second margin, and then the next minute starts up. Okay, cool. So now what we want to do is we want to start typing, right? And this is going to probably be the confusing part for you guys. We want a new original series. Oops. And if you highlight it, you can choose your font, right? Whatever font you choose, you can choose it. You can choose your size. You can choose your color. And then you can choose to move it around wherever you'd like. Now for this part, you notice right here, it's right here under New Original, it's down here. I'm going to add a animation preset. So I'm going to go ahead and open those up. I'm going to go into text, and I'm going to go into animate in, because I want to animate it inwards. And I'm going to go into center spiral. I don't know what it does, I'm just going to drop it in there and see what it does. So right here, if I press play, that's what it does. That looks pretty cool. Now, this is important, and this is where I want you guys to pay close attention. This part animates in, and it stops right around here, right? There's nothing more to it. So if I press U right here, it'll open up the keyframes. That's what it's doing. That's the effect. After it says in your original series, I want it to play for at least a couple of seconds, and then I want it to fade away. So right here around 5, I'm gonna add a animate out. Let's put like twirl each line or something like that. And notice that we now get new keyframes starting at 5, and they disappear. That's pretty cool actually. So there we go. A new original series, and then they leave. Right? So now that we have it here, you notice that this red bar continues for a whole 1.5 minutes. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is travel all the way to the end, grab that red, and bring it so that it ends right there. Now we have a little short one, and you can see that it starts and ends, and then that thing cuts off. Alright, cool. So now that we have that in your original series, next in our to-do list is to put featuring. So let's head over here. We're going to go ahead and grab the typing tool again. We're going to put featuring. And this one, maybe I'll put it down here. And for this one, I'm not going to use a text effect. For this one, I'm actually going to use the opacity feature. So I'm going to open this up, text, sorry, not text, transform. And right here we have opacity. So this is where you all start learning with keyframes and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead, as soon as this one vanishes, I'm going to add a keyframe. In order to do that, I need to press on the opacity stopwatch. That adds a keyframe, but that keyframe is currently set at 100. So I'm going to put that at 0. Then I'm going to move over just a couple of seconds. So I'm at 8:07, say 8:12. And then I'm going to switch this over to 100. Notice the moment I press 100, it adds another keyframe automatically because the stopwatch is turned on. When the stopwatch is turned on, every time you do something different to that particular text or picture or whatever you're working with, it's going to add keyframes. So let's go ahead and press this. And there's featuring. It'll play for a little bit. Now right here, we don't need to click the stopwatch because that's going to remove all of our keyframes. and we wanted to stay at 100 because we wanted to stay at 100 all the way to right here. After that, we're going to switch it back to 0. So what you're going to do is add a keyframe at that 100. So when I press this, it adds a keyframe. Now I can move to 10, 12, 2 seconds later, and then I can change this to 0. So notice, from 0 to 100, place to 100, goes back to 0. So starts at 0, moves to 100, stays at 100, goes back to 0. Pretty simple. If you just take your time, look at it, it'll be fine. Again, we want to cut this off because we don't want it that long. We'll put this right here. So now the next thing we need to do, featuring, is add our characters, right? So we're going to go ahead and use Dexter number 2. Actually, I'll use both of these Dexters are really good in images, so I'll just go ahead and drop it in. So as I drop it in, notice that the bar is now covering our featuring and our new original series. So this purple should actually start, so we're going to move our arrow, should start right around here because we don't want it to like be showing, right? We'll probably make it a little bit longer. Come here to the very beginning, and I'm going to add opacity keyframe and set that to 0. So now you can't see it. Come this way, and I'm going to add 100. So now it's going to do this. We can maybe move this way and bring the keyframe along with it. And we can now add the title of this guy, which is Dexter Morgan. And we can put him here. Or let's make it a little bit smaller. Put it right there. Double click, and I'm going to add this text to put it in black. And I'm going to add an effect to this text, so animate in. And I'm going to put fade character up. So now it'll do this. Perfect. Then right around here, I'm going to select my Dexter picture. Go over to opacity. I'm going to add a keyframe. Move it just a couple of seconds more and switch it to 0. So notice that it plays all the way to 100 and then it disappears. Cool. So now that it disappears, I also want to make the text disappear. So I'm going to go right around here and add an animate out. Remember, every time you add effects, the timing of your line right here is very important because that's where you're adding the effect to, right? So let's go ahead and play this. Perfect. And again, we don't want the picture to be that long, so we're going to move the picture this way. And we're going to bring our text this way. Pretty cool. So now that we have that, we get to add the next picture. But this is what I wanted to show you. So this picture, when you add it, it's a lot smaller. So what do you think you should do? Right click, transform, and fit to comp. You did this in one of your tutorials. And if your image was actually a lot bigger, let's see if it was actually something like that, then you would right click, transform, fit to comps, and it'll do the exact same thing regardless. So now that we have that image, the image is going to be brought this way, and then this one will be brought this way, and you'll do the same thing. You know, add your opacity keyframes, add the name of the characters, and put your text into your character at the very end. The last picture you want to put at the very end is the one of the crew. This one is obviously too small, so transform, fit to comp, and then we're going to put this towards the end, right? Because that's where it's supposed to start. And so once all your characters played through, then at the very end, you have your final one, which is going to say the title of the show. And I'm going to just select a cool little font for that. That's not a cool font, but it's okay. Make sure this is maybe like something like red. Add a black border. There you go. And then just animate that. Remember to always cut these the way they're supposed to, because otherwise you're gonna say, hey, I can't see my pictures anymore, or all my work is lost. Look, it's just her. That's because your layer is at the very top. So you need to adjust this accordingly. You can move it around. Remember, you're playing with time. So every time you think you lost something, look at your times table. How does it look? Does it look like things are working out, or are they not? Uh, so that is pretty much what we're going to be doing. At the very end, I'll show you all how to add a song, but that's for another step later on. So hopefully you all understood this. If you have any questions, just let me know before you begin your quiz. And at the very end, just remember to export your composition just the same way that I've showed you in the other video. And that's it for today's tutorial. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.